Everyone grows up as a different person in a different life with different parents, different friends, different schools, different experiences. And so when we take the advice that's meant for the general population, sometimes it doesn't always work for us. You can feel like you're doing everything right, but still feel stuck and still be stuck. Today, I want to show you how you can customize self-improvement for yourself and tailor it so that it actually works for you, even if you feel like you're getting stuck taking general advice or following things that seem like they work, but you can't seem to apply them. I'm 21 Average, and this is the Improvement Conversation. Thanks for joining us today. I got into self-improvement 3 to 5 years ago, and I feel like it has definitely changed my life. I'm a better, happier, healthier, more enhanced version of myself today, and not just because of the experiences I've had in between the time that I started self-improvement, but because I've actually applied a lot of the things that I've learned. For me and for a lot of people, they probably realize that if you take the general advice that you find on self-improvement, apply it in your everyday life, you'll probably improve as a person. And this is true. But what we don't think about is how we could improve even faster and even better if we were getting more personalized advice. And I used a number of systems in order to get personal advice, both internally and externally from myself and from outside forces, and to apply that into my life in a way that actually worked for me. And so I know this is a little hypocritical since this is a YouTube video, and everyone who listens to it will hear the exact same words. But this video is meant to give you ideas and actionable steps that you can take to improve your life to the way that you want to live it. The first way that I get advice that's customed for my own life. And so this is probably the simplest and most effective way that you can use to get custom advice tailored to your own experiences, to everything about you, and to your own situation. And it's using AI. AI is useful for a lot of things, but what I find it most useful for is for taking a lot of information and condensing it or adapting it or tailoring it. And so what you can do is just go on a rant. Tell it about all the problems that you're having in a certain part of your life, and then either pull advice from a YouTube video that you think generally more applies, or something that you've heard, what you want to change, or simply let the AI generate the advice for you, and it'll be tailored to your own experience. This is super helpful, and it's not just an idea. This is something you should actually do. You don't have to go on a rant, though I like to do it with voice because it just lets my ideas flow freer. But what you can do is type it all out if you want to, or even if you have any other online content, like if the problem's about a certain teacher, you can record a transcript of what your teacher said, or just whatever it is. Generate the content, and you can be super messy and just go on, and it catches on feelings super well. And this is super interesting because you wouldn't think the AI would be so good at understanding what we're feeling, but if we just talk in a very emotional way, at least this is what I've realized. If I talk emotionally and really just let it all out, it'll understand exactly what it is, and then you can also get advice that you want. So sometimes we literally just want emotional support. We just want to feel better about our situation. And so you can just say, make me feel better at the end of your rant, literally, or help me understand what's going on. I'm just confused and overwhelmed. Or what are 3 actionable steps that I can take to fix the situation as fast and effectively as possible? Get creative, because there's literally no limits except what's actually going on in your life. And I found this to be the #1 most effective solution to any problem that I'm facing, if I want like a self-improvement problem specifically. In general, you can pretty much get the best advice that you would get in any type of context from any type of content, because it can take in all of the factors. You just have to state them out loud. A YouTube video can't talk to you, and it can't listen to you and then give you specific advice. AI can. And a way that I like to take this a step further is to say, ask me the 10 questions that you need to get me from point A to point B. So an example could be, if you want to go from a B student to an A student, you could say, ask me 10 questions or 50 questions or whatever it is. And ask me to give you any content like the grades that I have now and this and that. And it'll give you a full thing of what it needs to turn you from an A student to a B student. It can give you a full report, very actionable. It can actually literally just tell you the amount of time it takes. And then, you'll have the option of putting in that work and it'll 99.9% be spot on. Whether you're willing to take the action and how you can take the action and use motivation to create systems is something else that I talk about in other videos. But you'll have the plan if it's a big decision in your life. I've been thinking about summer music programs to do since I'm a violinist, and I have AI do the research and give me advice on it. And it's custom advice. I tell it what type of person I am, what I care about. I tell it a ton of things that don't even seem super relevant, but the AI can pull up tiny bits of information that we would have never even found and turn it into actionable advice. And the flip side to all of this is the emotional advice and counseling, which I find probably even better. You can rant all day about something that you can't actually change, and you can have ChatGPT or something help you find a way to fix it in your own mind and to come to terms with pretty much anything. This is pretty general advice, and in a lot of my videos, I try to talk more specifically about things that you can do right now. And of course, I think that you can open up an AI, whatever your favorite model is right now. ChatGPT, Grok, Gemini. By the way, I find Gemini is best for the little fast things, like translating a language or giving me synonyms of a word. I find ChatGPT best with the emotional stuff and the advice stuff. It'd probably be best for this kind of things I'm talking about. And I find Grok best for stuff like writing notes or bullet points for me, or transcribing something down and summarizing it, and more writing tasks in general. So this is my advice. This is the improvement conversation. I'm 21 Average, and thanks for listening.